The January transfer window closed last week, and today I'm going to be going through every single Premier League club, that's all 20, and going through all of the key signings and key departures of their business. And also, I don't think I've ever put more effort into a video research-wise than this. So, all the more reason why I'd really appreciate you to like and subscribe if you do enjoy. And if you want to see more stuff like this, then let me know in the comments below. Arsenal, 2 new signings and no one leaving the club. Pablo Marin and Cedric Suarez, both defenders, centre-back and right-back. It isn't the most incredible bit of business from Arsenal. Cedric Suarez, I don't expect to start many games for Arsenal. Pablo Marin is not proven in this division. He played against Liverpool in the Club World Cup for Flamengo, but it'll be interesting to see how he does. They're both on loan, and I think they both have the option to buy as well. But given how Arsenal's season has gone, not been doing very well at all, they really needed to invest a lot more. So for this, I'm going to have to give them a D grade. But one thing as well, I do think Arsenal needed a midfielder because for ages now, everyone's known that they have lacked that creativity in midfield. And because they haven't had anyone since, even Patrick Vieira back in the day, they've not really had anyone since he left to marshal that midfield. Aston Villa, 4 new signings, 7 departures. Now these captions you're seeing on screen, I can't put every single player on because there's just not enough space and it isn't that interesting. So I just put the key signings. But Villa signed Samatta, Pepe Reina, Danny Drinkwater and Bojan Baston. Villa have had a decent season, League Cup final, and even though they have been in the relegations a lot of the time, they have had some good performances in the league. I did feel they might have needed to do a little bit more than this to try and survive relegation, but I feel overall it has been quite a good window for Villa. I'm going to give them a C grade. Samatta, of course, they didn't have anyone because Wesley was injured, but maybe they should have gone for somebody a bit more proven in the Premier League instead of just an unknown. I mean, he scored against Bournemouth the other day, so, good start. Pepe Reina is a fantastic option because, of course, they don't have Tom Heaton. Reina, a proven goalkeeper in several different leagues, so I feel that he would do well for them. Danny Drinkwater, bit of a flop at Burnley, didn't do anything. Chelsea weren't going to use him. That's all right. Bojan Baston, interesting one. We'll see how he does. C grade for Villa. Bournemouth, E grade. Not had the greatest season at all. They've really been struggling for the first time since they have really been in the Premier League. And it looks like maybe their reign in this division could be coming to an end. But they have picked up recently. Having said that, I still feel that they should have signed some players. They signed no players at all. They let go of 5 players, the most noticeably being Begovic to Milan, which is a bit of a weird option to be honest. Not a very good window for Bournemouth. I feel that if they really wanted to try and stay up, I know they're not the richest club in the world, but they should have signed some players. So overall, poor window for Bournemouth. I'm going to give them an E grade. Brighton and Hove Albion, C grade. They're signing for 2 different teams and they only made 2 signings. That's very poor. The only real signing that they've made is Lamptey coming from Chelsea, a young defender, right back. Interesting to see how he can do as a regular first teamer. Maybe it's a bit weird that they didn't loan him out, but they have lots of options. Reece James is up and coming at Chelsea, so maybe selling him was the right decision. They got 1 million for him. Aaron Moore permanently signed from Huddersfield has done a good job for them. The most noticeable signing is actually coming to my club, Gaetang Bong. That is about it really. All the others are just younger players. Brighton have had a good season. Of course, Graham Potter's come in and he's implemented this attacking football kind of scenario where it's really fast paced and it's really interesting to watch as well. So Brighton have had a good season, but they've also had some poor slip-ups. And I feel that if they keep going the way they're going, they will be more than safe to stay in the Premier League this season. Burnley, Brexit FC, 1 signing, 2 outgoings. And it is classic Burnley, really. They've not really spent much money. They're not known for it, and it's no different here. Josh Brownhill coming in from Bristol City for 9 million, a midfielder. That is literally it. And the only big outgoing of only 2 is Inaki Wells going the other way to Bristol City for 4 million. So there is some kind of deal going on there because, you can have one of our players in exchange. Burnley have been alright this season. They've actually surprised a few, and they always go under the radar, Burnley. I think they actually have got quite a good team, but they're not the most exciting team to play in the world, and I feel they could have done a little bit more. So, given the fact they only signed 1 player who's not proven in the Premier League, I'm going to give them a D grade for Burnley. Next up is Chelsea, and again, a poor window for Chelsea. Their transfer ban was lifted, and you thought, yes, they're going to make a few signings. They gave themselves a transfer ban. They signed no players. I mean, why were they complaining at the start of the season, we can't sign any players? Then your ban's lifted, and you don't sign anyone. I know that they've done alright this season, actually a lot better than the people thought under Lampard, and Mount has actually proven people wrong, and players like that. Who else? Tomori as well. But again, I feel they should have done a little bit more than no one. They could have done with another striker. I know they were linked with players like Mertens towards the end of it, and Cavani was also linked with them as well. But again, Chelsea should really have signed some players. They got rid of Jonas Hector to Fulham, Moses to Inter Milan on loan, which is a bit of an interesting one. Lamptey, of course, going to Brighton, like I said. Drinkwater going to Villa. Overall, it's standard really, those outgoings. But incomings, no one. That is why it's a D grade for Chelsea. Next up is Crystal Palace. Again, another team that did very little business. The only big signing really was Cenk Tosun from Everton going on loan to them, who scored in his debut against Man City, of course. Camarasa, his loan was ended by Betis and he's gone on loan to Alaves. Didn't really play that much. And Connor Wickham, the proven goal scorer that he is, has gone to Sheffield Wednesday on loan. Everton next, E grade for them. Another team, I feel, with a very poor window. They should have done more. Again, no incomings. A team like Arsenal as well. Both sides should be doing much, much better, struggling like mad. They did actually come back against Watford the other day, which is impressive. But again, you would have thought, because they've had a really poor season, they would have signed some players. They signed no one again. Why? Is all these clubs broke? Is it to do with Brexit? I don't know. They also loaned Kieran Dow out to Wigan, ex-Forest of course. I mean, Wigan's a bit of it's a good player for them, but I don't really know why Derby got rid of him. Was he not playing much? I mean, it is Derby, so I don't really blame him for not wanting to play for them. Very quiet winner for Everton, E grade. Leicester, D grade again. Another team with very little activity. And again, in this case, I don't really feel that Leicester needed to sign many players because they're having such a good season. Yes, they have slipped up a little bit recently against teams like Southampton and Norwich and Burnley as well. But still, Leicester have had a fantastic season, more than comfortable in the top four, and they're almost certainly going to be back in the Champions League next season after... It seems mad saying back in the Champions League for Leicester, but of course they were after they won the league title a few years ago, which is still a miracle. And the team that they've got now is miles better than the team that won the titles, so it just shows what a crazy season that was a few years ago. The only incoming is Ryan Bennett from Wolves on loan. Interesting one, not playing that much for Wolves, and the outgoings... Main ones, Benkovic going to Bristol City on loan and King going to Huddersfield. Liverpool next, the runaway leaders, and it is February and they've got a 23-point lead at the time of recording. Like, what the hell is that? It is actually getting worse than the French league right now. Last season, the tightest title race in history probably. This season, probably the most one-sided. It is mental. And yet, they still managed to sign a player, Milamino from Salzburg, of course, a left winger, and... for only 7 million, that is a bargain. We'll wait to see how he does. That they didn't really need to sign a ton of players, did they? So, for what they've managed to do, a B, and no one leaving either. And again for Man City, one of the richest clubs in the world, not had a good season, 22 points off their arch rivals from the title, and they signed no players. Like, what is going on there? City have tons of money. People call them oil money. They should have signed some players. Like, Otamendi's been poor, Stones has been bad, and, like, they've lost company. That's a massive influence lost there. They clearly needed to sign a defender because they lost Laporte for a good period of this season. Why didn't they get a replacement in? I don't understand. It baffles me. Angelina going to Leipzig on loan, which is a bit of a weird one because Leipzig normally go for young players, and Angelina's like close to his 30s now, I feel. But Angelina's been a bit of a flop for them. Roberts as well going to Borough on loan. As for the other Manchester club, they've just become a bit of a banter club, Man United, really. And it's incredible that they are actually 5th in the league because they are the most inconsistent team this season and just in general because they batter Newcastle, they beat Spurs and Man City within a week, and then they lose to Watford. Explain. That is football in a nutshell. That makes no sense, man. Bruno Fernandes coming in from Sporting finally for 47 million. The saga went on for such a long time, and even back in the summer and previous windows as well. He's been linked with them for such a long time. And probably the strangest transfer of the window by quite a considerable mile. Odi Ighalo from Shanghai Shenhua for on loan. Like, what is going on there? This is the level United have reached. They sold Lukaku. I know he wasn't doing amazing, but look, you sell Lukaku, and if, like 6 months later, you're signing Odi Ighalo, 30 years old. He is good. He is a good player. He did well for Watford, but still, come on. You could have gone for someone better than that. You're not telling me there was no one else that they could have gone for. Outgoings, Young going to Inter, and Rojo going back to his boyhood club over in Argentina. So overall, poor for Man United, another team that struggled and needed to invest. They didn't, so an E grade. The next team, Newcastle United, not a bad window, but again, it's not amazing either. They signed Danny Rose from Spurs. That, credit to them, is actually decent. That is not bad at all. Another ex-Spurs player, Bentaleb from Schalke on loan. I feel he could improve their midfield quite a bit, but that's a bit of a strange one, of course. And Lazario from Inter Milan on loan, who is a right winger / midfielder. Newcastle have been a pleasant surprise this season under Steve Bruce, of course. Like, Rafa Benitez left, everyone thought they were going to struggle like mad, instant relegation, but Bruce has actually gotten playing well, and credit to him, he's proven people wrong. This might be a little bit harsh one maybe, and it probably because it is, but I'm going to give them a D grade. I just feel it isn't hugely inspiring, those transfers, maybe Danny Rose, but other than that, it isn't anything amazing. Now the next one is a little bit harsh, just simply because Norwich are quite well known for not being the richest club in the league. They're one of the weakest, and you know the reason why they didn't sign many players in the summer is because they're just not that rich. They signed Byram, and that was about it. The only sign that they've made really is Rupp from Hoffenheim for 450k and he's a midfielder. They surely needed to improve their defence because that's Norwich's downfall, and also scoring goals. Other than Pukki, they've got no one else. If Pukki gets injured, what are they going to do? Instant relegation, without a doubt. Just give up if Pukki gets injured. There's no one else. Like, who is their other striker? I generally don't even know who their other striker is. A lot of young players with a lot of potential, but they're not at that potential just yet. So Norwich are not going to stay up for me. And given this transfer business, it isn't going to help them at all to change my mind. So I'm going to say an E grade for Norwich. Sheffield United, what a time to be a Sheffield United fan. From being in League One, bottom of League One, just like 4 years ago, to being probably in the Europa League next season. And now they're signing gems like Sander Berg from Genk, 23 million. That is incredible. Their transfer record. Also Robinson from my team Forest, we'll see how he does for them. Zinkovic from the Chinese League on loan, a striker. And Restos from Leverkusen, probably saying that wrong, centre-back on loan. So not bad at all there. I mean, the only real outgoing is Ravel Morrison, who did he even play a game? I don't even know. He's gone to Borough in the Championship. And Robinson, who actually played quite a bit at the start of the season, I think. He's gone to West Brom. Sheffield United have had an incredible season. I can't really say anything other than a high rating, so a B. The Saints, Southampton, E grade overall, very quiet window. Only Kyle Walker-Peters coming in from Spurs on loan at right back, obviously to try and replace Cedric Suarez, and Yoshida has gone to Sampdoria and 2 other youth players. But other than that, a very quiet window for Southampton, and you know they had a terrible start to the season, getting battered by Leicester. Everyone thought that was it. Southampton down. Credit to Ralph Hasenhüttl. God, I only just said that right. It's not that inspiring, so their business, an E. As for Tottenham, a B grade for me. They signed Steven Bergwijn from PSV, Gedson Fernandes from Benfica, and yeah, we'll see how they do. Of course, they both highly rated young players, and I think it's going to be exciting to see how they do in the Premier League. And of course, Eriksen going to Inter. Big loss, but at the same time, it's the right loss because he wasn't playing for the club. He wanted to leave. Just let him go. And also, Rose, like we said earlier, and Walker-Peters leaving, and a load of youngsters as well. Apart from maybe the fact that they should have got a right back in because they had not even replaced Trippier, have they? Overall, I think it's been a great window for them after quite a poor season, so a B grade. Watford, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I've never heard of these two players that they've signed. Pustotoro, yeah, totally how you say it. And João Pedro from Brazil. Watford, poor season. They should have invested more, improving players as well. So an E grade. That's not good enough for me. The second to last clubs, we're finally getting here. West Ham, D grade for me. They've had a very poor season. Yet again, they signed loads of players, spent a lot of money, and thought, yes, this could be the season that West Ham push them and get Europe. But again, they've underperformed. They are one of the best teams at doing that. Randolph from Borough as well. That's a decent signing. Thomas Soki from Slavia Prague. Jared Bowen from Hull. That is a very good signing. Really excited to see how he does for West Ham. An interesting move of all clubs, but you know, credit to West Ham for getting that one done. And Roberto's left for Alaves, which is probably good to see the back of him. But I'm going to give him a D grade. I feel they could have done more. They should have signed a centre back because clearly their issue, one of their issues as well, is defending. You know, they threw away a lead against Brighton the other day, so they should have got a centre back in my opinion. So Overall, D for West Ham. The final club, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Again, they may have signed 4 players, but I'm going to give them a D grade because the players that they have signed don't fill me with a huge amount of confidence because I don't even really know much about them. I mean, this Pondensi guy from Olympiacos for 17 million can't be bad because, you know, they've paid that much money for him. Enzo from Dijon, a midfielder, again, never heard of him. And Luke Matheson from Rochdale, who did really well when he played against Man United and Newcastle as well in the cup competitions. He's been loaned back out to Rochdale though. And also Calaverio has permanently moved to Fulham for 10 million. Rafa Mir gone to Huesca, so good luck Huesca to score goals. Not the greatest window in the world, but they were actually really active. There was a lot of players that they sold on this list that I just couldn't put in. And that is it. My ranking of every single Premier League team's transfer window. This took me quite a long while to gather all of this information together. So I really do hope you've enjoyed. If you got to this point, then even more. You know, I appreciate that very much. If you have, like and subscribe to Rads Gaming, of course. And let me know if you want to see more football stuff like this. I've really enjoyed doing this. And until next time, like and subscribe to Rads Gaming. And I'll see you very soon.